All right, so you know how it is with politics these days, right? I mean, just when you think you've heard it all, seen it all,
Yeah.
something else comes along that just makes you go, huh, what did I just hear?
Abs Absolutely never ends, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And today, folks, we are diving into one of those moments.
Buckle up, everybody.
Oh, yeah. We've got some fascinating source material lined up for you today, all from a YouTube video by the Ring of Fire. And this one focuses on a recent appearance by Alina Habba.
Now she's just set.
Yeah, Donald Trump's lawyer. That's right.
Okay, interesting already.
Oh, yeah. She was on Benny Johnson's program, and that's where things get really interesting.
So right away, the thing that jumps out at me is the company she's keeping,
Right.
right? Because this isn't just a regular sit-down political interview or something like that.
Yeah.
The source we're looking at makes it clear that there's another guest on this show that's interacting with Habba. And, well, that's kind of where the story takes this unexpected turn.
Yeah, I mean, the YouTube video we're deep diving into today is even titled, Alina Habba says man accused of rape and trafficking is just like Trump. So that gives you a pretty good idea of where we're headed with this.
Oh.
Yeah, and our mission here is nice and straightforward. As always, we want to unpack this whole event based purely on what this source is telling us, and of course, figure out, what this all might mean.
Right. Always sticking to the source material.
Yeah.
No speculation, just the facts.
Exactly. And the host of this Ring of Fire video,
Yeah.
he wastes absolutely no time setting the scene, either right from the get-go. There's just this feeling of disbelief.
Yeah.
It's clear that whatever we're about to hear is going to be analyzed really critically.
You can just hear it in their voice that
Yeah.
this is going to be good.
Yeah, totally. And it makes you wonder, what did Habba actually say or do that made this host react so strongly?
Right. Get to the good stuff already.
Okay, so here's the deal. Habba was on this show with Benny Johnson alongside none other than Andrew Tate.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, now, for anyone who might not know him, the YouTube host makes sure to remind us about all the accusations against Tate. We're talking rape, sex trafficking, tax evasion, criminal conspiracy, the whole 9 yards.
Wow. That's quite the rap sheet.
Yeah, and the video also points out that Tate has openly described himself as a misogynist.
So just to kind of lay it all out, we've got a lawyer who represents a very controversial political figure in Donald Trump, and now she's sharing a platform with and seemingly aligning herself with someone who's facing some extremely serious allegations.
Right.
It just makes you wonder, what's the motivation behind this kind of association?
It's definitely a head-scratcher, and it gets weirder. The video goes on to describe the initial interaction between Habba and Tate. Reportedly, Habba greeted him with, nice to meet you, I'm a big fan. And Tate apparently reciprocated by complimenting her work for Trump and even saying that she's doing more important work than he is.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. And here's where things get really interesting when you consider Habba's track record.
Oh, really?
The YouTube host just couldn't resist pointing out that she's basically lost every major case she's argued for Trump.
Oof. So not exactly a winning streak.
Not at all. So Tate's comment about her saving Trump sounds super ironic.
Yeah, you could say that.
The video even brings up this theory that was going around among some Megay supporters that Habba was secretly a Democrat all along because her legal work was so bad.
I guess they couldn't believe someone could be that consistently unsuccessful otherwise.
Right. So when you hear Tate praising her like that, especially given Trump's legal and financial troubles, it makes you think, what's the real story here?
It just makes you wonder, what point was Tate trying to make there, both to his own audience and to Habba herself?
Exactly. It feels very calculated, like there's a deeper strategy at play.
Maybe some mutual back scratching, both trying to appeal to each other's followers.
Yeah, could be. And then comes the real bombshell. The statement that made the YouTube host really sit up and take notice, and I'm sure you will too. The video plays a clip where Habba straight up compares Andrew Tate to Donald Trump. She says, and I quote, America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said, and I think that your anger is the same that President Trump has for our country, and the time is now for us to stop being wimps. I think that's exactly the right sentiment. And I always have to say that I sympathize with you because I think you go through a lot of the same, show me the person, I'll find the crime that President Trump has gone through.
Wow, that's quite the statement. She's not just acknowledging Tate, she's putting him on the same level as a former president.
Yeah.
It's like she's saying they both share this sense of being wronged or persecuted.
Yeah. And what do you think about the impact of that kind of statement on different audiences?
Well, I imagine for people who are already sympathetic to Trump and Tate, it might reinforce their existing beliefs.
Yeah.
This idea that they're both fighting against the system or whatever. But for those who were critical of either one, it probably comes across as tone deaf at best and maybe even dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. And she didn't stop there. Habba went on to call Trump's recent sentencing a tragic story for American history and democracy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then she really doubles down on her connection with Tate, saying, and again I quote, "There is literally only one person with the same amount of anger and fire. That's probably me and President Trump."
Okay, so first of all, literally, come on.
Yeah, and she just said only one person and then named two people.
Right. It just kind of makes you question the precision of her language.
Yeah, totally. And the YouTube host picks up on this right away, pointing out that these slip-ups might actually undermine her arguments.
It's interesting because sometimes how you say something could be just as important as what you're actually saying.
Absolutely. The host of the YouTube video then gives us his unfiltered opinion on Habba's skills as a lawyer. Oh.
He says, and this is a direct quote, "You are genuinely, without a doubt, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, Alina, you are the dumbest lawyer I have ever seen in my life, and I go to legal conferences with literally thousands of lawyers twice a year, and trust me, some of those folks I see out there. Wow, how did you ever pass the bar? You are somehow dumber than all of the lawyers I've met in my life." And again, I am talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of lawyers. After more than 20 years of working in the legal field, you are dumber than all of them.
Wow, that's quite the roast.
Yeah, no punches pulled there.
So he's basically saying that based on his own experience in the legal world, Habba is the least competent lawyer he's ever encountered.
Yeah, and even though this is just one person's opinion, it does reflect a wider perception of Habba, especially after all those high-profile losses.
It's not a good look.
No, not really. I mean, when your own clients are starting to question your abilities, that's a problem. For sure. And speaking of questioning abilities, the video then shifts back to Andrew Tate, reminding viewers about those serious accusations against him and the evidence that's out there.
Right.
They specifically mention a text message where Tate allegedly wrote, "I love raping you."
Yeah, and the host is clearly trying to draw a contrast here between this disturbing message and Habba's positive comments about Tate and her suggestion that he's being unfairly targeted.
It definitely makes you think about the ethics of aligning yourself with someone like Tate, especially when there's evidence like that out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how do you reconcile those two things?
It's a tough question, and the video is clearly pointing out this moral and ethical disconnect in Habba's actions.
Right, and here's something else that's interesting. The video claims that these comments from Habba sparked a tremendous backlash from the Magi base, with many of them attacking her for praising Tate.
Oh, wow. Even they thought this was too far.
Yeah, apparently so. And the host suggests that this is pretty rare to see this kind of disagreement within Trump's supporter base.
It just shows you that even in politics, there are lines that people won't cross.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think they'd be on board with pretty much anything, but apparently not this.
Makes you wonder what it was about Tate specifically that turned them off. Maybe the nature of the accusations, or maybe something about his personality.
Yeah, maybe it was just too much, even for them.
It's possible. And from here, the video kind of zooms out and starts talking about bigger political concerns,
Okay.
like a potential Trump inauguration in the future. And the host doesn't sound too optimistic about it. They say things are already looking grim.
So they're kind of connecting this whole Habitate thing to a bigger picture of what might be coming down the road.
Yeah, it's like they're saying this is just a taste of what a second Trump term could look like, and they're not happy about it.
And then the video brings up Trump's plans for AI policy, specifically this claim that he wants to get rid of all the safeguards that Biden put in place.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. The video calls those safeguards radical leftist roadblocks to innovation, which gives you a pretty good idea of how they feel about it.
So basically, it's a classic debate about regulation versus innovation.
Right. One side wants fewer rules to let technology develop more freely, and the other side is worried about things like privacy, security, human rights, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough balance to strike. And then the video throws Elon Musk into the mix, talking about his potential influence on all this. And the host expresses some concern about the lines between truth, opinion, and propaganda becoming increasingly blurred.
Yeah, that's a really important point for all of us, right? I mean, how do you even know what to believe anymore when you're constantly bombarded with information from all sides?
It's definitely a challenge. You really have to be careful about where you're getting your information from and always be willing to question what you're seeing and hearing.
Absolutely. And it's not just about finding reliable sources, but also about being aware of your own biases and how they might be influencing what you choose to believe.
Yeah, that's key too. We all have our own preconceived notions, and it's important to acknowledge them so they don't cloud our judgment.
Right. And to wrap things up, the host of the YouTube video takes a minute to plug Ground News, describing it as a platform that tries to show you different perspectives on news stories from across the political spectrum.
Okay, so like a more balanced view of the news.
Exactly. They also mention their new daily briefing feature and offer a discount on their premium plan.
So they're trying to provide tools that help people get a more complete and less biased view of the news.
Right. And that's something we should all be striving for.
Absolutely. The more informed we are, the better decisions we can make.
Okay, so let's take a step back and recap everything we've learned from this deep dive into this YouTube video. We saw Alina Habba, Donald Trump's lawyer, appear on a show with Andrew Tate, who's facing some very serious accusations.
Right. And not only appear with him, but also praise him and even compare his anger to that of President Trump.
Yeah, and this whole thing sparked a lot of different reactions, from the YouTube host's harsh criticism of Habba to the backlash, even from some of Trump's own supporters.
It's like everyone was caught off guard by this whole situation.
Yeah, and the video uses this as a jumping off point to talk about even bigger concerns like a potential second Trump term and the future of AI policy.
So it's not just about this one bizarre event. It's about what it might tell us about the future.
Exactly. And as you think about all this, we encourage you to consider the implications of prominent people giving platforms to and even praising those who are facing serious allegations. How might this affect public opinion, and what does it say about the state of our political and media landscape?
It's a lot to unpack.
It is, but it's important to stay informed and engaged and to keep asking these tough questions.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, it's up to each of us to decide what we believe and how we want to participate in the world around us.
That's right. So stay curious, stay informed, and keep those critical thinking skills sharp.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And on that note, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.